My friend, let me tell you something. The greatest battles come right before the greatest blessings. Whenever God prepares to move you into a new season, the atmosphere around you becomes uncomfortable. People start acting differently. Resources dry up. Doors that used to open suddenly close. And you start to wonder, God, what is going on? But God whispers, nothing is wrong. I'm shifting you. Stop watching the storm. Watch me. Just like Peter walking on the water. He did the impossible as long as his eyes were on Jesus. But the moment he shifted his focus to the wind, the fear, the waves, he began to sink. Not because the water changed, not because the storm changed, but because his focus changed. God is saying to someone right now, do not sink in the season I designed to lift you. Keep your eyes on me. You are closer than you think. Your breakthrough is already in motion. The miracle is already assigned to your name. The door is already prepared. The blessing is already scheduled. But listen, breakthrough doesn't happen when circumstances change. Breakthrough happens when you change. When you shift your focus from fear to faith, from anxiety to assurance, from the storm to the Savior. This is what the Holy Spirit is saying. If you focus on me, I will handle what you cannot handle. Let me make this clear. The enemy cannot stop what God has prepared for you. But he can distract you long enough to make you walk away from it. This is why the pressure increased. This is why the spiritual attacks intensified. This is why the confusion came. This is why the delays happened. Not because God abandoned you, but because God is preparing you. Your character is being sharpened. Your faith is being matured. Your endurance is being strengthened. Your mind is being transformed. Listen, God is about to trust you with something big, something you prayed for, something you cried for, something you waited for. But before he releases it, he needs one thing from you. Keep your eyes on me and not on people, not on fear, not on what you lost, not on the opinions of the world, not on the noise around you. God is saying, look at me, watch me, trust me, because the next blessing coming to your life is too big to be built on shaky focus. Some of you are about to see the restoration you never thought possible, the opportunities you didn't expect, the favor in places where you were once rejected, the answers to prayers you thought God forgot. He didn't forget you. He was preparing you. Just like Joseph, your pit was preparation. Your prison was preparation. Your betrayal was preparation. Your delay was preparation. You're not behind schedule. You're right on heaven's timing. And hear me, when God decides your time has come, no door can stay closed, no person can block you, no situation can hold you back. He will lift you, promote you, expand you, accelerate you, and nothing will stop it. But to receive what God is releasing, you must do what he is requesting. Keep your eyes on me. You are in a season where faith is not optional, it's essential. Don't look at the storm. Don't look at the lack. Don't look at the waiting. Don't look at the discouragement. God is saying, look at me. I'm about to do what you cannot do. I'm about to open what you cannot open. I'm about to break what you cannot break. This breakthrough isn't coming from people. It's coming from God. And when God moves, he moves suddenly. Just like that. Healing, just like that. Provision, just like that. Opportunities. Just like that, connections. Just like that, breakthrough after breakthrough after breakthrough. But your focus will determine your future. This next blessing requires a steady heart, a clear spirit, and an anchored mind. Because listen, your eyes determine your direction. Your focus determines your future. Your faith determines your favor. So keep your eyes on the one who sees the whole path. Keep your eyes on the one who knows the end from the beginning. Keep your eyes on the one who has already prepared your victory. You are not walking toward breakthrough. Breakthrough is walking toward YOU. God is about to surprise you. He is about to reward your patience. He is about to honor your faithfulness. He is about to reveal why the wait was worth it. Stay focused. Stay faithful. Stay expectant. Because your breakthrough is not just coming. It's already here. 4 key points of the speech. Purpose requires focus. Purpose is not something you stumble into by accident. Purpose is something you step into with intention, discipline, clarity, and vision. And the greatest enemy of purpose is a wandering mind, a distracted spirit, a heart that keeps looking in every direction except the one God is pointing to. When God calls you to rise, the enemy calls you to look away. When God calls you forward, the enemy whispers reasons to turn around. When God says, keep your eyes on the assignment, the world tries to pull your eyes to the noise, the pressure, the comparison, the fear, the urgency of everyone else's life. But nothing destroys purpose faster than misplaced focus. Think about it. You cannot drive forward while staring out of the side window. You cannot run a race with your eyes on the competitors in the next lane. And you cannot step into what God has prepared for you while staring at what He prepared for someone else. Purpose requires focus because destiny demands direction. And direction comes from vision. What you choose to look at, what you choose to prioritize, and what you choose to ignore. Most people are not defeated by lack of talent or lack of opportunity. They are defeated by lack of focus. They are robbed by distraction. They know what they should be doing, but everything around them keeps pulling on their attention. And let me tell you something, purpose doesn't chase distracted people. Purpose responds to those who set their face like a flint, who decide, no matter what tries to pull me off track, I'm staying locked in on what God told me to do. It's like when Peter stepped out of the boat and walked on the water. The miracle wasn't in the water. The miracle wasn't in Peter's ability. The miracle was in his focus. As long as he kept his eyes on Jesus, he did the impossible. But the moment he looked at the storm, the wind, the waves, the moment he allowed fear to steal his attention, he began to sink. Notice, he didn't sink because he lost strength. He sank because he lost focus. And that's exactly what happens in life. People don't drown because the storm is too strong. They drown because their attention is on the storm instead of the God who controls it. Look at daily life. A student with enormous potential fails not because they lack intelligence, but because they spend more time scrolling, doubting, procrastinating, and listening to the noise around them than studying. A gifted entrepreneur gives up not because the dream was impossible, but because their focus kept shifting from vision to fear, from passion to comparison, from faith to frustration. A marriage breaks down not because love disappeared, but because focus shifted to everything that was wrong instead of investing attention into what could be rebuilt. Focus is the oxygen of progress. Where focus goes, energy flows. And wherever your energy flows consistently, results begin to grow. Purpose requires you to silence distractions with discipline. It requires you to say no to things that are not wrong, but simply not right for your assignment. It requires you to stop allowing people opinions and situations to hijack your emotional attention. Sometimes the most spiritual thing you can do is unfollow a distraction, close a door politely, or pull your attention back to what matters. Because every time you lose focus, you lose momentum. And every time you lose momentum, you delay your purpose. There is a reason why God told Joshua, do not turn to the right or the left. Why? Because every great destiny has two borders, temptation and distraction. If the enemy can't take you out with sin, he tries to wear you out with noise. He tries to steal your destiny by giving you too many options, too many voices, too many opinions, too many paths. But purpose isn't found in options, it's found in obedience. And obedience requires focus. Think of a magnifying glass. Sunlight by itself warms. But when the light is focused, it burns through anything. You are the same. You become unstoppable when your attention becomes concentrated. You become powerful when your thoughts and your actions align in one direction. You become dangerous to the kingdom of darkness when your eyes stay fixed on the assignment God gave you, not the distraction sent to confuse you. Look at your own life. How many things have you started but not finished because your focus shifted? How many goals were delayed because something else stole your attention? How many prayers were halfway answered before you walked away in frustration? Purpose is not just about hearing God. It's about staying focused long enough to finish what he told you to start. And here's the truth: your future requires a version of you that can hold focus under pressure. Anyone can focus when life is calm, but purpose is proven in the storm. When everything is loud, when nothing makes sense, when distractions are screaming for your attention, when fear is trying to hijack your mind, when the enemy is waving problems in your face. That's when you must anchor your eyes on God and say, I refuse to lose focus. I refuse to break concentration. I refuse to be pulled away from my assignment. Because focus is faith expressed through vision. It is the discipline of looking at God when everything around you is demanding you look somewhere else. It is the strength to keep walking when distractions try to slow you, doubts try to weaken you, and circumstances try to intimidate you. Purpose requires you to see beyond the noise, beyond the fear, beyond the pressure, beyond the temporary struggle. Every single breakthrough in Scripture came to a focused person. Noah building the ark with no rain. Joseph focusing on God despite betrayal. David focusing on purpose while running from Saul. Jesus setting his face toward the cross, refusing to be distracted. That is purpose. That is focus. That is destiny. And this is what separates those who dream from those who fulfill destiny. Those who fulfill destiny choose focus over feelings, obedience over opinions, discipline over distractions, and vision over noise. Purpose is not about speed, it's about direction. Your life will transform the moment your focus does. And if God is calling you higher, He is also calling you to greater focus. Distraction is the enemy of promotion. Distraction is subtle. It doesn't always show up as something obviously destructive. Sometimes it arrives looking harmless, small, innocent, even justified. But the truth is this: distraction is the silent assassin of destiny. It doesn't need to kill you to stop you. It only needs to break your focus, delay your progress, and weaken your momentum. That alone is enough to keep you from reaching the promotion God prepared for you. Whenever God is preparing to elevate a person, the enemy rarely attacks their strength. Instead, he attacks their attention. He knows he cannot touch what God has ordained, so he targets what you choose to look at. If he can pull your eyes off your assignment, he can slow down the very blessing meant for your life. Distraction is never about what you see. It's about what you stop seeing. When you chase everything, you build nothing. When you focus on noise, you lose sight of direction. Look at daily life. A student preparing for a major exam knows it's important, knows it could shape their future, knows the opportunity is in front of them, but the phone keeps buzzing, social media keeps calling, little interruptions keep popping up. They tell themselves, it's just a few minutes, but those minutes stacked together become hours, days, even weeks, and suddenly they're standing in the middle of failure, not because they lacked intelligence, but because they allowed distraction to steal their promotion. Or think about a young athlete with great potential. They dream of becoming the best, dream of standing on a global stage. But every time training gets tough, they get distracted by hanging out with friends, by scrolling through entertainment, by listening to critics. Not because they lack talent, but because they allow distractions to dilute their discipline. And slowly, the fire inside them dims, not because the dream was too big, but because the distractions were too loud. Even in relationships, promotion gets delayed through distraction. A couple begins with love, vision, and unity. But then small things, comparison habits, outside voices, start grabbing attention. Instead of focusing on growth, they focus on faults. Instead of building together, they criticize each other. And the relationship breaks not because love disappeared, but because distraction replaced communication, attention, and effort. Promotion in any area of life cannot survive distraction. Look at spiritually significant moments in Scripture. Every time God lifted someone, the enemy sent a distraction first. Before David became king, distraction came in the form of jealousy, conflict, mockery, and fear. Before Joseph reached the palace, distraction came in the form of betrayal, false accusations, and unexpected delays. Before Jesus began his ministry, distraction came in the form of temptation in the wilderness. Why? because the enemy knows if he can't take your promise, he'll try to take your focus. The attack always intensifies when promotion is near. And the dangerous thing about distraction is that it disguises itself as things you think you need: unnecessary conversations, unhealthy relationships, toxic friendships, overthinking, comparison, drama, and fear. All of these things feel urgent, but they kill your clarity. When God is about to elevate someone, the enemy surrounds them with noise, not to destroy them, but to occupy them, because you cannot step into what you keep looking away from. Imagine a builder constructing a house. Every time he's halfway done with a section, he stops and says, "Let me try building something else over here." Then he abandons that too and starts another project. After a few months, what does he have? 100 unfinished beginnings and nothing completed. Not because he lacked skill, but because he lacked focus. And that's what distraction does. It leaves you with fragments of dreams instead of finished purpose. It produces a life full of starts, but empty of results. Promotion requires a steady mind, but distraction destroys mental stability. You cannot hear God clearly when your mind is filled with everything else. You cannot discern the right opportunity while drowning in constant noise. You cannot walk into destiny while keeping one foot in distractions that drain you. Distraction demands so much of your attention that you don't even notice when God sends the opportunity. The blessing arrives, but you miss it because your eyes were somewhere else. And that is how many people lose what was meant for them. Not through sin, not through weakness, but through distraction. Someone is working on a business idea that could transform their life. God is giving them creativity, insight, and potential. But distraction keeps coming. Fear of failure, doubt, procrastination, overthinking, unnecessary conversations, unproductive habits. And every time they're about to move forward, distraction grabs their attention again. What they don't realize is that the enemy doesn't need to shut the door to stop them. He just needs to keep them too distracted to walk through it. Promotion is not only about being talented, it's about being focused. God elevates people who can handle responsibility, and responsibility requires attention. This is why your distractions increase when you get close to breakthrough. The enemy wants to drain your energy so you don't have strength for the blessing. He wants to overwhelm your emotions so you don't have clarity for the next step. He wants to surround you with noise so you miss the instructions God is giving you. Distraction is not random, it is strategic. And this is why you must guard your focus like treasure. You must protect your mind like a gateway. You must filter your environment like a garden. Not every voice deserves access. Not every situation deserves emotional investment. Not every opportunity deserves your time. Some things are not sinful. They're simply distracting. And anything that delays your purpose is dangerous. Because the enemy knows if he cannot stop you, he will settle for slowing you. But heaven is waiting for you to stop entertaining every distraction and step boldly toward your promotion. You are too close to let your attention drift. You are too close to let small things pull you off track. You are too close to let noise interfere with direction. The level God is calling you to cannot be reached with divided focus. Distraction is the enemy of promotion because promotion requires a mind fixed, a heart steady, a spirit anchored, and eyes locked on what God said. Faith must outperform feelings. Feelings are powerful, but they are not always truthful. Feelings are real, but they are not always reliable. Feelings are loud, but they are not always leading you in the right direction. And this is where so many people lose their blessing. They follow their feelings instead of following their faith. They let temporary emotions make permanent decisions. They let fear speak louder than God. They let discouragement become their compass, anxiety become their advisor, and doubt become their guide. But faith was never designed to take instructions from feelings. Faith was designed to rise above them. Your feelings fluctuate. One moment you feel strong, the next moment you feel weak. One moment you feel motivated, the next you feel exhausted. One moment you feel hopeful, the next you feel overwhelmed. Feelings can change with the weather, the mood, the atmosphere, or even a single conversation. That is why you cannot build your life on something so unstable. If your life is directed by your emotions, your destiny will always be at the mercy of instability. But when your faith becomes the engine of your decisions, your emotions no longer get to dictate your direction. Think about it. A person wakes up excited about change, ready to begin a new habit, ready to pray deeper, ready to work on their goals. But by evening, their feelings shift. They feel tired, stressed, discouraged, or unmotivated. And just like that, the decision they were certain about in the morning is abandoned by the evening. Not because the goal changed, not because God changed, but because their feelings changed. That is why faith must outperform feelings. Otherwise, your purpose becomes controlled by whatever emotion shows up. Look at daily life examples. A person wants to get healthier. They buy gym clothes, plan meals, get inspired. But the first day they wake up tired or discouraged, their feelings tell them, not today. And so the cycle repeats. Dreams collapse not because they're impossible, but because feelings overpowered faith. Or think about someone trying to rebuild their spiritual life. They want to pray more, they want to read scripture, they want to grow. But the moment they feel unworthy, guilty, or distant from God, they withdraw. They let a temporary feeling convince them that they are not qualified for what God already said is theirs. Feelings are not facts. Feelings are not prophecies. Feelings are not instructions. Feelings should never overpower faith, because faith connects you to God's truth, while feelings often connect you to your fears. When people allow feelings to dominate, they lose battles God already gave them victory over. They quit assignments God chose them for. They doubt promises God already confirmed. They walk away from blessings already in motion. This is why God calls us to walk by faith, not by sight, and certainly not by feelings. Look at Peter stepping out onto the water. His faith lifted him. His feelings sank him. The moment fear stirred his emotions, his feelings overpowered his faith, and he began to drown. But Jesus didn't say, "Peter, your understanding failed." He said, "Your faith failed." That means the battle was not in the water, it was in his emotions. His breakthrough wasn't interrupted by the size of the waves, it was interrupted by the size of his fear. And that's how life works. The wave is never the real problem, the emotion is. Feelings are temporary visitors, but faith is a permanent foundation. Feelings can deceive, but faith reveals. Feelings can weaken you, but faith strengthens you. Feelings respond to circumstances, but faith responds to God's voice. When you choose faith, you choose stability in an unstable world. You choose direction even when the path is unclear. You choose endurance even when the journey is heavy. You choose obedience even when comfort fights against it. A parent working 2 jobs to support their children does not always feel strong, but their faith keeps them moving. A student chasing their dream does not always feel capable, but their faith keeps them studying. A man or woman trying to rebuild their life after failure does not always feel confident, but their faith keeps them taking one step at a time. Life rewards those who allow faith to be the driver and feelings to be the passengers. And understand, this faith is not denying your emotions. It is refusing to let them rule your decisions. Faith says, "I may feel afraid, but I will move forward anyway." Faith says, "I may feel unqualified, but God called me, so I will step in anyway." Faith says, "I may feel tired, but I will not give up." Faith says, "I may feel broken, but I know God will heal me." Faith turns feelings into fuel instead of obstacles. There are times when God will test whether you live by feelings or by faith. He will give an instruction that challenges your comfort, a command that stretches your courage, a promise that forces you to rise above your emotions. When Abraham was told to leave his homeland, his feelings might have said stay, but his faith said go. When Moses stood before the Red Sea, his feelings might have said run, but his faith said lift the staff. When David faced Goliath, his feelings might have said hide, but his faith said fight. Every great move of God happened because someone chose faith over feelings. Even in your own life, think about the opportunities you missed because feelings held you back. Think about the blessings delayed because fear made you hesitate. Think about the people who walked away from God's plan simply because their emotions convinced them they couldn't handle it. That is why faith must outperform feelings, because destiny cannot be built on emotion. Emotion is too fragile to carry the weight of purpose. Your greatest breakthroughs will come in moments when your faith overrules your feelings, when you feel discouraged but pray anyway, when you feel unmotivated but show up anyway, when you feel afraid but take the step anyway, when you feel overwhelmed but trust God anyway. That's when heaven opens. That's when breakthrough happens. That's when transformation begins. Faith is what makes you unstoppable. Faith is what moves mountains. Faith is what opens doors, heals hearts, restores dreams, and activates destiny. Faith is the difference between sinking and walking, between quitting and becoming, between staying stuck and rising higher. Breakthrough comes to the prepared. ChatGPT said, breakthrough is not an accident. It is not luck, coincidence, or random favor. Breakthrough is the meeting point between God's divine timing and your personal preparation. God never sends increase to a life that is not ready to sustain it. God never opens doors for someone who hasn't built the character to walk through them. God never releases blessings into hands that are unprepared to carry the weight of them. Preparation is not optional. Preparation is the evidence that you believe God is about to do something in your life. People pray for blessings but ignore preparation. They want elevation without discipline, success without sacrifice, promotion without process, and breakthrough without readiness. But destiny doesn't respond to wishes, it responds to preparation. When God sees preparation, he sees maturity. When God sees maturity, he releases responsibility. And when responsibility comes, breakthrough follows. You do not rise to the level of your dreams, you rise to the level of your preparation. Imagine someone praying for a better job but never improving their skills, never working on their resume, never developing new abilities. They want the blessing, but they refuse the preparation. Or think of a person praying for financial increase, but still practicing habits that lead to debt, waste, or mismanagement. Breakthrough cannot enter where preparation has not been done. God will not allow a blessing to destroy you. So if he hasn't opened the door yet, it is not denial, it is development. He is molding you, shaping you, strengthening you for what you're asking for. Preparation is not always glamorous. It is often hidden. It happens in silence, in private moments, in seasons where no one is watching, applauding, or celebrating you. Preparation is waking up early when no one else sees. It is studying when others are relaxing. It is praying when others are sleeping. It is doing the inner work that nobody claps for. But those who prepare in private will be elevated in public. The foundation of breakthrough is built long before anyone sees the building. Look at David. Before he ever faced Goliath, he fought lions and bears in the wilderness. No spotlight, no audience, no applause. Just preparation. God didn't promote him because he was lucky. God promoted him because he was prepared. Before Joseph ever became second in command of Egypt, he was trained in a pit, a prison, and a foreign land. Each season was uncomfortable, but each season was preparation. Before Moses ever led Israel, he spent 40 years in a desert learning humility, leadership, and endurance. Preparation shaped his character so purpose could be fulfilled. Even Jesus lived in obscurity for 30 years before beginning his ministry. 30 years of preparation for 3 years of purpose. If the Son of God needed preparation, how much more do we? Preparation is not punishment, it is protection. God prepares you so the blessing does not break you. He strengthens your spirit so responsibility does not crush you. He sharpens your character so influence does not corrupt you. He deepens your wisdom so promotion does not overwhelm you. Think about daily life. A student preparing for a major exam cannot just hope for success. They must study, practice, and review. Without preparation, the opportunity will expose their lack of readiness. A couple preparing for marriage cannot build a healthy relationship without communication, patience, and emotional maturity. A business owner cannot grow without preparing to handle pressure, finances, and leadership challenges. Breakthrough is not simply about desire, it is about readiness. God uses preparation to qualify you for the blessing you are praying for. Sometimes He delays the miracle because He is developing the version of you that can sustain it. Some blessings require patience, others require strength, others require discipline, others require wisdom. If God gives you something too early, it becomes a burden. But when He gives it in the fullness of time, it becomes a blessing. Preparation transforms you into a vessel that can carry what God is getting ready to release. And preparation will always involve pruning, letting go of habits, people, mindsets, and behaviors that cannot go with you into the next level. You cannot step into breakthrough with the same thinking that created your breakdowns. You cannot step into a new season carrying the weight of old seasons. Preparation forces you to grow past your comfort zone. It stretches your faith, expands your vision, and disciplines your heart. Some people say, "I'm waiting on God," but sometimes God is waiting on them, waiting for them to put their house in order, to sharpen their skills, to discipline their lifestyle, to purify their intentions, to align their heart with His will. Breakthrough comes to the prepared because preparedness is a demonstration of expectation. When you prepare, you are saying, "God, I believe you enough to get ready before I see the blessing." Like a farmer who plants seeds months before harvest, you prepare today for what you expect tomorrow. Like an athlete who trains before the competition, you strengthen yourself before the opportunity arrives. Like a mother who prepares a nursery before the child is born, you make room before God fills it. Preparation is a prophetic act, an act of faith that says, "I know something is coming." Look at how life works. When you expect guests in your home, you clean. When you expect a delivery, you stay alert. When you expect rain, you take an umbrella. But when people expect breakthrough, many do nothing. They pray with their mouths, but doubt with their preparation. And that is why their blessing seems delayed. God will not pour new wine into old wineskins. He will not release greatness into a life that refuses growth. Every season of preparation is proof that God is getting ready to trust you with more. He prepares you for what He has prepared for you. Breakthrough doesn't arrive when you feel ready. It arrives when you become ready. And readiness is not emotional. Readiness is structural. It is built through consistency, discipline, growth, humility, and obedience. Breakthrough comes to the prepared because preparation creates the space, the strength, and the stability needed to carry the blessing when it finally arrives. There comes a moment in every destiny, a moment when heaven leans over the balcony, a moment when God whispers, "This is the turning point." And I believe with everything in me that someone listening right now is standing in that very moment. You have walked through storms that tried to break you, valleys that tried to bury you, nights that tried to silence you. But look at you, still standing, still breathing, still fighting, still believing. You didn't survive all that pain for nothing. You didn't endure all those battles just to end up empty. You didn't cry all those tears just to stay stuck. No, God preserved you because He is about to promote you. What you thought was the end was actually the preparation. What felt like delay was actually divine timing. What tried to crush you is about to catapult you. You are stepping into a season where everything God promised is starting to align. And hear me clearly. When God is ready to accelerate your life, there is no force on earth, no plan in hell, and no human opinion that can stop Him. When God opens a door, no enemy can close it. When God speaks a word, no circumstance can cancel it. When God declares breakthrough, not even your past can disqualify you. You are about to witness the kind of blessing that will make you look back and say, "Now I understand why I had to go through all of that." God never wastes pain. God never wastes tears. God never wastes seasons. Everything you went through was building something in you. Strength, faith, endurance, vision, wisdom, confidence, boldness. You didn't just survive your battles, you grew through them. And now you are becoming the person who is ready for the promise. There is a warrior inside you that life tried to silence. There is a champion inside you that fear tried to bury. There is a leader inside you that insecurity tried to suffocate. There is a purpose inside you that distraction tried to delay. But the time of hiding is over. The season of shrinking is over. The chapter of surviving is closing. This is your time to rise. This is your time to expand. This is your time to reclaim everything that was stolen from you. Your voice is coming back. Your courage is coming back. Your clarity is coming back. Your fire is coming back. You are not stepping into the next season weak. You are stepping into it wiser, stronger, sharper, and more dangerous to the enemy than ever before. And you must carry this truth in your spirit. The same God who brought you this far will not leave you halfway. The same God who carried you through the valley will carry you into victory. The same God who held you together when everything was falling apart is the same God who is now piecing your future together. You are walking into a chapter written by the author who never fails. Your story isn't over. It's leveling up. Your journey isn't ending. It's about to unfold in ways you never imagined. Speak this over your life. I am not done. God is not done. My future is not finished. My breakthrough is not denied. My destiny is still alive. What God started in me, He will finish through me. Declare it with boldness. I am rising. I am shifting. I am elevating. I am stepping into everything God said is mine. Remind yourself every day, my setback was a setup. My delay was divine development. My struggle was strengthening me. My waiting was God working. And when discouragement tries to creep in, declare, greater is He that is in me than the battle that is against me. You are walking into days where prayers you whispered years ago will suddenly be answered. You are walking into moments where everything that didn't make sense will suddenly become clear. You are walking into opportunities that will make you say, only God could have done this. The breakthrough you've been praying for, the healing you've been needing, the clarity you've been searching for, the strength you've been craving, it is coming. Not someday, not eventually, not if things work out. It is coming because God is sending it. And when God sends it, it arrives with power. You are not stepping into an ordinary season. You are stepping into a supernatural season, a season of open doors, a season of acceleration, a season where what took years will happen in months, what took months will happen in weeks, and what took weeks will happen in moments. Get ready, because the glory that is about to hit your life will not just change your season, it will change your story.